There comes a moment in life when you realize the harder you chase something, the further it runs. It's not weakness to stop, it's wisdom. Because the day you stop chasing is the day you reclaim your dignity, your peace, and your power. That's the day you stop handing your value to someone else for them to measure. And that's the day you win. Sometimes we run so hard toward something, believing that if we just pour in more of ourselves, more love, more effort, more sacrifice, then the universe will reward us by giving us what we want. We tell ourselves, if I just prove my worth a little more, they will see me. We stay up late overthinking, rehearsing conversations in our minds, finding ways to show up in their world, all in the hope that our presence will finally make them choose us. But life has a way of teaching us that the more we chase, the more it slips away. Not because we are unworthy, but because what is truly meant for us does not need to be captured. The illusion of control is one of the most exhausting illusions we live in. We think we can hold on to people, to circumstances, to moments, if we just grip tightly enough. We think our love will change their mind, that our persistence will soften their heart, that our sacrifices will secure our place in their life. But love, respect, and commitment cannot be negotiated through desperation. They are either freely given or they do not exist at all. And I know it's not easy to accept, because stopping feels like giving up, and giving up feels like failure. We grow up believing that persistence is the key to everything. Hold on, keep fighting, never let go. But there's a difference between fighting for something healthy and chaining yourself to something that is slowly killing your spirit. There's a difference between effort and self-betrayal. Sometimes letting go isn't an act of surrender, it's an act of deep courage. It's saying to yourself, I deserve more than a love that has to be chased. I deserve more than a friendship that survives only when I carry its weight alone. The hardest part is not walking away from them. It's walking back toward yourself. It's standing in the silence that follows, resisting the urge to fill it with their voice. But it's in that silence that you begin to hear the truth. What's meant for you will meet you without you having to lose yourself to get it. And then there's the way we measure our worth through other people's responses. When someone pulls away, ignores us, or treats us like an option, we often assume it's because we're not enough. So we try to become more available, more accommodating, more forgiving. But here's the truth. They are not the mirror that reflects your value. If someone cannot see your light, it does not mean it's dim. It simply means they are not looking. The moment you stop chasing, you stop handing them the pen to write your worth. You take it back. And when you do, you realize your value isn't earned through proving, pleading, or persuading. It's in the quiet confidence of knowing who you are and what you bring. You see, desperation changes how the world sees you. It sends a message, often unspoken but deeply felt, that says, I don't believe I can be chosen unless I run after you. And when you live like that, you attract those who thrive on being chased but have no intention of being caught. But when you stand still, when you decide that you will not bend your back to fit into someone else's small space, you send a different message. You say, I am not here to convince you of my worth. You can either see it and cherish it, or you can walk away, and I will be okay. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. It changes how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you allow yourself to be treated. When you stop chasing, something beautiful happens. You create space. Space for the right people to step in. Space for love to come without conditions. Space for opportunities that don't require you to sacrifice your peace. And in that space, you begin to see how much energy you've been giving to things that were never meant to stay. You realize that life isn't about running after closed doors. It's about finding the ones that open effortlessly when you arrive. And maybe the most surprising thing is this. When you no longer chase, some of the very things you once ran after start coming toward you. Not because you manipulated the situation, not because you played games, but because people are drawn to strength, to stillness, to the quiet assurance of someone who knows their own value. You become magnetic without even trying. Because you're no longer moving from a place of lack. You're moving from a place of wholeness. And from that place, you don't just win someone's attention, you win back yourself. There is a beauty in distance that we often overlook. We think closeness is built by being constantly available, constantly present, constantly giving pieces of ourselves to remind the other person we exist. But sometimes being too close blinds the other person to our value. When we are always there, always answering, always accommodating, always showing up, we remove the space for longing, for missing, for appreciating. Absence is not abandonment. It is an invitation for reflection. It is in the quiet moments when we are not there that people begin to notice the void we leave behind. And it is in that void that they come to realize the weight of our presence. Space creates desire because it allows the other person to see us without the fog of familiarity. When you stop overwhelming someone with your attention, you allow curiosity to breathe. You give them room to wonder how you're doing, what you're thinking, where your laughter has gone. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot immediately have, to what feels just out of reach, not because of games or manipulation, but because mystery is part of human nature. When you take a step back, you invite that mystery in. And in that space, you also find something unexpected. You start to see them more clearly, too. You notice how much effort they are willing to make when you are not carrying the entire weight of connection. You begin to see whether their care runs as deep as yours, or if it only survives when you are the one keeping it alive. But stepping back is not just for them. It is for you. It gives you a moment to catch your breath, to listen to your own heart instead of constantly trying to read theirs. It gives you time to reconnect with your own dreams, your own needs, your own voice. In the silence of that space, you rediscover parts of yourself you may have neglected while you were busy pouring into someone else. And it is in that rediscovery that your true strength starts to shine. Yet creating space alone is not enough if you are still draining your soul on the inside. Chasing doesn't just take up your physical time. It consumes your emotional energy until you feel like you have nothing left for yourself. That kind of exhaustion runs deep. You wake up already tired, not because of the hours you've slept, but because your mind has been running marathons in search of validation. That energy you're pouring into proving yourself, convincing someone, holding on, that is the very energy you could be using to build your own life. Imagine what would happen if you took all that effort and turned it inward, into your passions, your health, your dreams. Imagine if the same persistence you used to hold on to someone was instead used to hold on to yourself. Protecting your emotional energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Every time you invest in someone who does not reciprocate, you're making a withdrawal from your own well-being. Over time, those withdrawals leave you in emotional debt, anxious, depleted, and questioning your worth. But when you start setting boundaries for your energy, you change the entire equation. You no longer give to be noticed. You give because it feels right, and you stop when it starts costing your peace. You no longer show up out of fear that they will forget you. You show up because you want to, not because you have to. When you protect your energy, you start to attract different kinds of people. The ones who value your presence because they know it is not endless. The ones who see your worth without needing to be reminded every second. You become more selective, not out of pride, but out of a deep understanding that your heart is not a resource to be exploited. And in that selectiveness, you find freedom. You realize that you do not have to be everywhere, for everyone, all the time to be loved or respected. You simply have to be fully yourself, in the right places with the right people, and the rest will take care of itself. The truth is, space and energy protection go hand in hand. Creating space shows others your value, but protecting your energy shows yourself your value. One invites others to step toward you. The other ensures that when they do, you meet them from a place of fullness, not depletion. And that fullness, that quiet, radiant confidence, becomes the most magnetic thing about you. It draws in the people who appreciate you, and it gently repels the ones who would take you for granted. In that balance, you find a peace that chasing could never give you. Chasing is rarely about the other person. It is often about the ache inside us, the quiet longing to feel seen, to be told we matter, to have someone's presence confirm what we struggle to believe about ourselves. When someone's attention starts to fade, it triggers a fear deep within us, a whisper that says, "Maybe I'm not enough." And instead of sitting with that fear, we try to outrun it. We offer more of ourselves. We compromise more of our boundaries. We give more than we can afford to give, not because we are generous, but because we are afraid. Afraid that if we stop trying, we will lose them. And in losing them, we will lose our reflection of worth. But there comes a point when you realize that needing someone's validation is like chasing the horizon. You can run forever and never reach it, because it is not a destination. It is a mirage. Self-respect begins the moment you decide you no longer need anyone else to declare your value. It is when you look in the mirror and instead of asking, "Will they love me?" you ask, "Am I loving myself well enough?" It is the quiet but powerful decision to stop lowering your standards just to keep someone close. It is the courage to walk away, even with a trembling heart, when the effort is not matched, when the care is not mutual, when the respect is absent. Self-respect is not loud. It does not need to scream or prove itself. It is in the way you protect your boundaries without apology. It is in the way you refuse to compete for a place in someone's life, because you know the right place is given freely, not earned through endless pursuit. And something shifts the day you choose self-respect over validation. You begin to glow differently. Your presence changes. People sense the difference in the way you carry yourself. And those who truly value you will meet you on that higher ground. Those who don't will fall away. And that's not a loss. That's life making space for something better. Letting go is often misunderstood. People think it's about throwing your hands up and surrendering to defeat. But letting go is not a sign that you've failed. It is a sign that you have grown. It's understanding that holding on to something or someone that resists being held will only break you. It's realizing that love is not meant to be a chain. It's meant to be a choice. If someone does not choose to stay, your grip will not make them stay. It will only make you bleed. Letting go requires a quiet kind of bravery. It's waking up one morning and deciding that you will no longer beg for a seat at a table where your presence is taken for granted. It's gathering the pieces of yourself that you scattered in someone else's hands and bringing them back home. It's understanding that walking away does not mean you never cared. It means you have chosen to care for yourself more. There is a strange peace that comes when you release what was never truly yours to hold. You stop replaying the moments in your head, trying to find the exact second you lost them. You stop bargaining with reality. Instead, you accept that some things are not meant to last, and that's okay. Because not everything in life is meant to be permanent. Some people come to teach us lessons, to awaken parts of us, to push us toward becoming who we're meant to be. And when their chapter in our story ends, holding on too tightly only keeps us stuck in a page we were meant to turn. Letting go also opens the door to something beautiful, the possibility of better. When your hands are no longer clinging to what hurts you, they are free to receive what heals you. You make space for relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, for opportunities that don't require you to shrink yourself, for peace that isn't conditional on someone else's behavior. And as you learn to let go, you realize that you were never meant to chase what was right for you, because what's right for you will walk beside you, not run away from you. Self-respect and letting go are deeply connected. One cannot truly exist without the other. It takes self-respect to let go of what diminishes you, and it takes letting go to fully step into your self-respect. Together, they form the quiet, steady foundation of a life where you no longer live in fear of losing people. Instead, you live in the confidence that those meant for you will never need to be chased. They will choose you willingly, and until they do, you choose yourself, every single time. Every time you make the decision to stop chasing someone who cannot or will not value you, you are not just ending a pursuit. You are rewriting the story of who you are. You are telling yourself, this is not how I will define my life. This is not the ending I will accept. For so long, we can live as though we are side characters in someone else's narrative, our choices revolving around their needs, their moods, their willingness to include us. We measure our days by how they respond, by how much attention they give, by whether they notice when we are gone. But the moment you stop running after them, you pick up the pen. You start to author your own pages. You realize that your story is not meant to be an appendix in theirs. It is meant to stand on its own, full of meaning, full of moments that matter to you, regardless of whether they choose to be part of it. Rewriting your story is not about pretending the past didn't happen. It is about reframing it. It is looking back at all the times you stayed too long, tried too hard, gave too much, and instead of seeing weakness, you see growth. You see the strength it took to keep loving even when you weren't being loved in return. You see the lessons you learned about boundaries, about self-worth, about the kind of love and respect you will never settle for again. And with that awareness, you begin to shape the future differently. You start to fill your days with people and experiences that give back to you. You allow yourself to dream without asking permission. You stop apologizing for wanting more than crumbs. When you step into the role of the author of your life, you stop living reactively, waiting for others to act so you can respond. Instead, you start creating. You decide how your mornings will begin, what energies you will entertain, what environments you will thrive in. You realize that you have a say in the kind of love you allow, the kind of conversations you engage in, and the kind of treatment you accept. And in that shift, something inside you stands taller. You are no longer trying to fit into a life that isn't yours. You are building a life that reflects you. And then there is this truth. Winning is not always about getting the person, the opportunity, or the approval you once chased so desperately. In fact, most of the time, the real victory is in becoming so grounded, so deeply fulfilled within yourself, that you no longer feel the urge to chase anything at all. When you are in that place, you are not constantly on edge, wondering if someone will stay or leave. You are not bargaining for attention or working for scraps of affection. You are steady. You are enough. Winning without the fight looks like peace. It looks like knowing you can sit alone with yourself and not feel lonely. It looks like laughing at your own jokes, cooking yourself a beautiful meal, taking yourself to places you once thought you needed company for. It's the freedom to love without fear, because you know that your happiness doesn't depend on another person's choices. And when you are in that space, something shifts in how others see you. They sense your wholeness. They sense that you are not looking for someone to complete you. You are simply open to sharing your completeness with them. That energy is magnetic. It draws in people who want to stand beside you, not above you, not behind you, not pulling you forward or holding you back. This is the paradox. The moment you stop needing to win someone over is the moment you truly win. Because you have stopped making your life a competition for someone's affection, and instead, you have made it a celebration of your own worth. From this place, you can give freely without fear of losing yourself. You can love without keeping score. You can walk away without bitterness. And in doing so, you open yourself to relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are aligned with your soul. Winning without the fight is also about releasing the idea that your worth is measured by who stays. Sometimes, the greatest gift someone can give you is their absence, because it forces you to stand fully in your own light. It forces you to grow roots so deep that no storm can shake you. And once you have those roots, you no longer chase the wind. You let it blow, knowing you will remain. That is not defeat. That is the quiet, powerful victory of someone who knows exactly who they are and refuses to shrink for anyone. And that kind of win lasts far longer than any fleeting approval ever could. The day you stop chasing is the day you begin attracting. It's the day you trade desperation for dignity and anxiety for peace. Ask yourself, what or who do you need to stop chasing today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. If this message resonated with you, like the video, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe for more conversations that inspire and empower. And tell me, what topics would you like us to explore next? Your voice shapes this community.